This week we've had some huge Steam Deck news, from first-party game developers publishing updates for their games to add and remove features, and Steam Next Fest offers over 800 indie game demos for free, plus a stealth drop of Metroid Prime Remastered has landed on the Steam Deck. We're going to talk about it. It's Steam Deck news time. So, the Callisto protocol had an update that added a few things which might be of interest to you and I, namely better support for the Steam Deck. This update fixed font rendering so titles appear more readable on the deck's screen. They created a graphical settings profile specifically for the Steam Deck to provide smooth gameplay, whatever that means. And they upgraded the control schemes for the Steam Deck controller. So this is an update dedicated for Steam Deck support. It's great to see from developers. However, the benchmark functionality has been made inaccessible while playing on the deck. And it's also unclear what the phrase rendering functionality profile means. Now, the question is, have you played the Callisto protocol since this update? Leave us a comment and let us know your experience down below. Next, Steam Next Fest. We may be a while out from the numerous summer games showcases, but that won't stop Valve from helping us get excited about upcoming games. All this week you can try out any of the 830 indie game demos, as well as watching developers live stream their games. I've always enjoyed this event as it helps draw more attention to some really promising looking games while the rest of the gaming news cycle is focused on AAA releases. And it makes sense why Valve puts so much emphasis on indies, especially because they're a great fit for the Steam Deck. No terrible third-party launchers to break their games, they're typically less graphically demanding. Now, I certainly don't have time to cover over 800 demos in this video, but we here at the channel are actually pretty excited about a few of them. One of the titles that I'm personally most excited about is Void Train. It's a first-person open-world survival crafting game where you build a train through a void. Now, we have a running list of games we're excited for over on ViewSync, so go check that out, use the link on screen or in the description. Now, if you go over to the Next Fest page, you can browse through and see if something catches your eye. If you see something that you play or like, make sure you add it to your wish list because it definitely helps indies out. Plus, it'll give you a nice reminder of when the game actually releases. Finally, you can leave a comment below with your favorite games for the rest of us to take a look at. Now, Steam's February Next Fest will run through the 13th, so make sure you grab the demos while you can. Now, before we move on, I gotta say thank you to this video's sponsor, Factor. I'm getting hungry. If you're anything like me, the cold weather can make healthy eating choices that much harder to follow through with. That's why I'm happy that this video's sponsor is Factor. Factor is a great meal delivery service that helps you avoid takeout and ordering in, with delicious and nutritious, no-nonsense food that's ready quickly. Factor's chef-prepared meals make it easy to eat well, so you never have to opt for something that isn't good for you. And even better, Factor sweats the tough stuff so you don't have to. Their registered dietitians work hand in hand with their kitchen to ensure every meal is made from scratch with nutritious ingredients. Each meal arrives pre-prepared and ready to eat in 2 minutes, which is perfect for busy lifestyles. There's also a great selection too. Factor offers keto, calorie smart, chef's choice, and vegan and veggie options. These can include seafood, meat, and plant-based meals. Their menus are updated weekly and include more than 27 meals and upwards of 33 add-on options. You can choose your favorite meals or let Factor craft your order based on your preferences. Now, we all know that I have had a great experience with HelloFresh, so when I found out that they now own Factor, I was really excited to give them a try. Our meals with Factor were so easy to make and delicious to eat. With such a wide variety of meal plans to choose from, there's truly something for everyone. I love being able to switch between Factor and HelloFresh for easy and delicious meals, and now you can enjoy both brands at a discount with me. Head over to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code Gardiner50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video, and now back to it. Alright, now we gotta talk about this. Metroid Prime Remastered was shadow dropped during this week's Nintendo Direct, and no more than an hour or two later, people were already emulating the game on their Steam Decks. Now, is Schadenfreude a thing when it's against a company? It's rather fitting, seeing as the last Metroid game, Metroid Dread, was actually subjected to the emulation community's enthusiasm, and the game was playable in 4K within a week. Now, the remaster here boasts enhanced visuals and sound effects. Specifically, it looks like HD textures and new models to go along with some added post-processing, modern FPS controls, as well as the original controls, and a new casual difficulty option for greater accessibility. While the game released digitally on Wednesday, there will be a physical release later this month. Both of them are priced at $40. The remaster currently does not run flawlessly on either Yuzu or Ryujinx, but it is a promising start less than 24 hours after release. Linux Gaming Central's Mark Doherty, friend of the channel, bore the burden of testing the GameCube's highest rated game in both emulators. Check out his article in the links below. Alright, next up, even before the launch of the Steam Deck, the handheld looked like it would be a tinkerer's dream, with Valve releasing the Steam Deck's CAD files to the public. This is most likely what helped third-party accessory makers dbrand, Deckmate, and JSAUX provide us with a steady stream of great accessories to trick out our favorite handheld PC. JSAUX in particular has been pumping out products left and right, and the latest one to get the internet buzzing is the transparent backplate. Now, there's something about transparent plastic casings that tickle our nostalgia. I think the backplate looks pretty rad, but I'm not sure I agree with the decision to put a metal plate on the back. As Taki Uden points out in his review, the plate becomes quite hot to the touch. JSAUX is reported to be releasing at least 2 additional colors. In a Reddit thread posted earlier this week, user Stoned Edge reports backplate customers received an email from JSAUX announcing additional colors. This backplate has inspired some to go the extra mile when adding some flair to their deck. The first post of an RGB-filled Steam Deck came from Reddit user Wubsy on the Steam Deck subreddit. It really elevates the transparent back to a trademark PC gamer level. Some modders have taken a more practical route when using the backplate, like LWC on Printable. They claim their Steam Cooler, a 3D printed fan mount and accompanying thermal mod, can lower the Steam Deck's temperature by up to 17 degrees Celsius. They mention that you need to watch out for condensation as it could kill your handheld, so between the added bulk and the risk of Steam Deck death, I'll probably leave this one for others to try. So will you be picking up the JSAUX transparent backplate? Are you going to try using your own mods to jazz up the Steam Deck? Let us know. Alright, next up, Humble Bundle's January choice was a tough act to follow, especially since it featured the Doomslayer himself in Doom Eternal, along with OlliOlli World Rad Edition and Tribes of Midgard. But if you sink most of your time into RPGs, then this month's Humble Choice Bundle might be what you're looking for. The headliners this time around are Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous Enhanced Edition, Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales, and Fallout 76 and Fallout 1. As a tabletop RPG fan and a former Pathfinder game master, I am pumped to be diving into Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. The game normally retails for $50 and its historic low Steam price is $15. Now, OpenCritic rates this as fair, but Steam's overall user ratings put it at 84% positive. Steam Deck compatibility is rated as playable or gold. Now, next we have Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales. It's not uncommon to get a card battler in Humble Bundle choice, but Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales seems to be a particularly strong game filling that slot this month. Boasting a 30-hour-long single-player story, this should satisfy you if you've ever had the need for just one more round of Gwent. Standard retail for this game is about $20, but the historic Steam low price is only $6. Open Game Critic rates this as mighty, with some pretty glowing critic reviews to accompany Steam's overall player rating of 89%. It gets extra points for me for being deck verified and ProtonDB Gold. And then there was Fallout 76. Oh, Fallout 76, how much of a storied journey you have been on, and not a particularly positive one either. This game famously launched with no NPCs, numerous game-breaking bugs, and horrific review scores, which is why Open Game Critic puts this as a weak rating. It's honestly fascinating how disastrous the launch was. Apparently, some things have been fixed here. It has a better Steam user score than it did, but it is the big title in this month's Choice Bundle. Now, there are several other games that are part of this Choice Bundle this month that we just don't have time to cover in this video, so make sure you check out the article over on ViewSync for a full rundown. It's important to note that there are reports Humble has been running out of Steam keys for games on sale and in bundles. My writer Jackson has experienced this when picking up Marvel Avengers for $8. It took him about a week after purchasing the game to receive the key he actually bought. There was no warning of exhausted keys on the game's store page, and that is not a great look for Humble, regardless of how long he had to wait for his key. If you have experienced this issue in particular, please let us know so we can investigate further. Now, also of note is I'm part of the Humble affiliate program, but I don't get paid for choice signups, and I pay for mine out of pocket. 2023 is looking to be a promising year for Choice subscribers though, so let us know in the comments if you pick up Choice this month and which games you're playing from it. Alright, next up, originally reported by Phoronix's Michael Larabelle, support for the Steam Deck controller is entering the Linux kernel through the existing Steam HYTE driver, which was originally developed for the Steam controller. This is coming to Linux kernel version 6.3. This looks to initially be basic functionality, while advanced features like force feedback will come in the future. The developer of this project was actually contracted by Valve to create this project. And they said about the project, we're adding preliminary support for the Steam Deck controller interface. Currently, this only supports the controller inputs like toggling lizard mode, which is Valve's name for the hardware keyboard and mouse emulation mode. It does not have support for any of the advanced features such as motion sensors or force feedback. The Steam Deck also includes a heartbeat for lizard mode that switches it back on if no reports have been received within a few milliseconds. The official Steam client handles this by sending a handful of configuration reports every few milliseconds. So we copy this behavior by sending configuration reports to disable the mouse and reset the digital mappings every 5 milliseconds. As this isn't needed for the older Steam controller, this is only done on the Steam Deck. Now, it's great to see that Valve is continuing to contribute to the open source Linux world. Should you decide to run a different Linux distro on your deck, as long as it has Linux kernel 6.3, it should have better compatibility with the Steam Deck's controller out of the box. Now, as is tradition around here, we're going to talk about updates to the Steam Deck software. Valve started off the week with a Steam Deck beta client. This one looks to be addressing some rendering errors in the interface, adding a faster way to navigate the library, and configuring the initial location of the Steam's overlay keyboard. Previously, the keyboard would automatically appear below your cursor if the cursor was at the top of the screen, or vice versa. It's a small update, so let's go over the full changelog. For general fixes, they fixed a cause for the Steam library chat and big picture mode browser windows showing all black and not rendering. They added fast jump by letter to the library. They added settings for initial location to show keyboard on desktop and in Steam Overlay. And for Steam Input, they fixed several instances of the left bumper and trigger glyphs having the wrong background image. Now, along with the beta client update, Glorious Eggroll also updated his Proton GE and Wine GE releases to include the upstream Ubisoft Uplay fix. Now, both of these are smaller updates like the Steam Deck beta release, but they are definitely welcome here, as we recently saw Ubisoft push all responsibility for fixing their own games for the deck onto Valve. It's a pretty bad take for a publisher when Valve has not only been helping devs optimize their games with APIs, but they've also been constantly pushing out hotfixes for high-profile games that were broken on release. And most of the time, that's because of crappy third-party launchers, so publishers, could you kindly knock that off? Setting aside Ubisoft being generally terrible, it's always nice to see fresh Steam Deck updates. Not only because of Valve, but also the tireless work of the community. Now, I gotta ask you a question. Have you liked that smash button yet? When you do, you'll be well on your way to seeing more videos just like this one. You can also subscribe if that's more your speed. If you aren't aware, I'm giving away a Steam Deck in honor of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. There's a link below, and the giveaway closes at the end of this month, so make sure you get on that. Well, I think that's going to do it for now. Let us know your thoughts on any of the topics we covered in this video. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons and my YouTube members. It's because of them that I'm able to continue growing this show into what it's become today. So thank you. If you believe in the work that Jackson, Emily, and I have been doing, consider supporting the show with a monthly contribution. It helps greatly. That's going to do it for now. Thank you so much for spending time with me here today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.